partnerships in history. When we think of great partnerships, names come to mind like Romeo and Juliet, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. The Wright brothers. Great partnerships fill our great history. From as far back as Adam and Eve, these dynamic duos have done great things together. But what makes a partnership great? Through thick and thin, they understood their roles and stuck to them. Did Juliet climb into the balcony? No. Did Fred Astaire wear the dress? No. Did the Wright brothers squabble over who flew first? Maybe a little. Nonetheless, we celebrate these dynamic duos because of their undying devotion, not only to each other, but to the parts they play. So take heart, know your role, and never lose sight of the next step forward.
Dancing, eh? It is the most magnificent art form that can exist between a man and a woman. It requires focus, attention, and patience. Done correctly, it is like heaven on earth. Done poorly, it is a train wreck. Painful to endure, painful to observe, and let's be honest, painful for everyone involved. For the next 4 sessions, I am going to teach you the basics of ballroom dance. You have chosen to make your life more beautiful, and for that, I give you the applause. Oh, you clap too, huh? You. What are you doing?
Hold on a second. I'm just here to meet my wife.
So you are the delinquent husband of this most beautiful lady, huh? If you had not come, I was to dance with her all night, huh?
You know what? I should get going because, yeah. Well, I'll give you a call when I'm on my way down tomorrow, okay?
My dear, what is your name?
Lucinda.
Lucinda, très belle, huh? And your husband?
Luis.
Louis. Come, join us, Louis, huh? You and the beautiful Lucinda will be our example for our first dance, the waltz, huh?
Oh, we don't know how to waltz.
Well, of course you do not. That is why you are here. So, the waltz, huh? Oh, it always reminds me of a very pretty lady I knew in Vienna.
Look, I'm really sorry. I tried to get here earlier, but Roger added some last-minute tweaks to the proposal, and it was business.
He's a control freak.
Oh, no, he's just nervous. It's a big sale, sweetheart. You know, don't worry, I'll get you something nice when this is all over, okay?
What, like dance lessons?
Better.
This is all I wanted. The idea was for you and I to spend some time together.
We are.
Can't you stop with that just for a second?
Okay, done.
Marie, bien, s'il vous plaît. This is Marie, my most beautiful and very talented assistant. She is beautiful, is she not? Now, first position is everything. Without the right position, it is pointless to try to dance. There is always a lead and a follow. A lead and a follow. We show you the position for the waltz. First, the man, hand here and here, and the woman, comme ça. Very good. Now you show us, huh? You show us. No. Now see, this is how it is with you Americans, huh? The woman, she always wants to control, and the man, oh, just let her, you know. No, come on, you are a strong Latin man, eh? See, yeah, there is a danzador inside of you, huh? That is right. Come on, straight back. And you, my dear, just relax, huh? Very good. Now, for the waltz, huh? It is as simple.
What time are you getting home?
Around 3.
We have an appointment with Rob's math teacher at 4.
I know.
We can't be late. You should be home earlier.
We have about an hour.
We should be there early.
Okay, relax.
Did you pick up the dry cleaning?
Was I supposed to? Well, we can get it on the way home.
Oh, yes, when it's closed.
And what time do they close? Well, if they close at 5, we have plenty of time.
Now everyone, dance. Here we are. 1, 2.
Here we go.
Come on, do it.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
Can you please not count out loud?
I'm just doing it for now.
Everyone, look here. Everyone, please, look here, huh? No, you keep dancing, keep going, yeah. You see? How the man is guiding her, huh? Firm, in control, and she is like a willow, huh? Right in his arms, huh? Very good, you have done this before, huh?
Cotillion in grade school, but it's been a while.
Very nice, So you start early, huh? You learn correctly the first time, it always is easier, huh? So now, positions, everyone. 1, 2, 3, and let's dance. 1, 2, 3. No, step first, the left foot, huh? Oh, no. You cannot jerk her around like that, huh? She is not a sack of potatoes.
But she's not following my lead. He said you had to follow me.
I'm trying to follow.
I have been watching you two. You do not know each other?
No, we do.
No, this is our first date.
But we've been emailing for a month.
Okay. Well, see, none of that matters. See, we are here to dance, huh? Dance. You cannot yank her around like a yo-yo. It is torture for her and for me. Huh? So you must treat her kindly, gently, huh? Waiting on her. Otherwise, voila, this may happen to you. So everyone, Louis, again, position. Shh. We dance, huh? Relax, huh? Very nice. And la. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Heel toe.
The perfect man? Oh, wow, that's an intense question.
Of a perfect woman?
Young, blonde, sexy.
Submissive?
Don't tell my wife that.
Big bone, strapping man.
He would be tall, preferably with money.
Brazilian.
And have to go to the gym, which I forgave you for. But...
What would they look like? I don't care.
For our first date, I thought I saw her on the corner with a fur coat, and I was like, I'm out.
But it wasn't me.
It wasn't her.
It was me.
So somebody who will let me win at Scrabble, sometimes at least. And maybe he likes marshmallows too. Those are always important.
It's the perfect woman. My wife of 40 years. She's beautiful, sexy.
So you're supposed to say you. You're the perfect one. Oh.
A perfect man, a good, hard, honest, working man. That's what I can describe perfect.
Amen, sister.
Intelligent, loving, caring, loyal.
Ambitious, loving, forgiving of my craziness.
The perfect man is kind, funny, and compassionate.
Not someone that I need, but someone that would add to my life.
Their happiness is more important to you than your happiness.
If he's a good, hard-working man, he's going to keep me working hard, motivated, and everything. My energy I get my energy from him.
Somebody who is patient and has a nice demeanor and good sense of humor.
They make everything better.
Yeah, that's
everything
great.
you do is better.
That's a great way to put it.
Hey, my wife is the perfect woman, and that's because she's everything that she said that a man should be.
A faithful Christian man.
I think the ideal would actually be something indescribable.
There is no such thing. If there was ever an ideal man, he would only accept the ideal woman, so they'd never find each other. So
it would just be those two wandering around, looking for each other.
One of my biggest concerns about what's taking place in our culture today is that we're allowing the world to create a gender blender when it comes to the roles and responsibilities of husbands and wives in the marriage relationship.
Husband-wife relationships, I find today, young couples are coming from some pretty jumbled up ideas. And the idea of 50-50, the idea of, a complete selfishness of I'm going to have my career, I'm going to have my career, we're going to do our thing. These parallel tracks will cross from time to time in life. unfortunately, you can't do it. We often say a person that says, I'll meet you halfway is a poor judge of distance. There's no way you can have a 50-50 relationship. There's no equality in this thing. To die to self requires a completely different mindset for marriage. And I think this is what contributes to most marriages failing.
When two people are on a horse, one of them has to be in front. One of them has to have the reins. Now, it doesn't mean that the other one can't reach around and also hold the reins as well. But you know what? One has to ultimately be the go-to person in tiebreakers to decide which way we go. And when you're on a horse, one person wants to go one way, the other person wants to go the other. That's not a picture of oneness.
The world's view of equal thing, everybody's got the same thing, it's unfortunate. We have equal value, but we have distinct roles.
You know, it's interesting that in a biblical perspective, the commitments that are made to each other are the same. The commitment, first of all, to monogamous marriage, to holding each to the other, that's equal, that's the same. But you notice there's an immediate distinction. There's a distinction in Genesis 2. It's Adam who names Eve. Even as Adam named the animals. Now, his relationship to Eve is not the same as his relationship to the animals, but there is still an issue here in which it's Adam that names Eve. Eve does not name Adam.
Christensen said, God did not take the woman from Adam's head, that she should rule over him, nor from his feet, that he should trample her, but from his side, to be beside him, underneath his arm, to receive his protection and his love.
slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. Ah, yes, in the hips, huh? You feel it? That's very good. You slide your foot there. That's very nice. Very good. Okay. No, we won't try to turn yet. All right. Very good.
Okay.
Everyone, you look magnificent, huh? The rumba, it make you want to, ooh. Well, so we take 5 minutes now, huh? And then we come back and we learn the turn. Louis, I tell you, you do not dance with her, someone else will, huh? Marie, please catch Louis up before we start again.
Louis, look, I'm really sorry. I apologize. I just lost track of the time, that's all.
It's gonna take me some time to cool off. She's waiting.
May I?
Oh, yes, of course. It's Wanda, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. It was.
Oh, don't.
He's been traveling a lot lately. You know, it's a new position at work. 3 regions became one, and he got it.
He must be good at what he does.
Oh, he is. He's just been traveling a lot lately.
That's what happened with my husband.
Really?
Got a promotion, started working more, traveling more. Soon he was gone almost every week. Ended up having an affair with a stewardess.
You mean Bart?
Oh! No, that's Bart. We're just old friends who do things together to keep from getting lonely. We took a cooking class before this. Now, my husband and I divorced almost 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your husband looks like he's a dancer.
No, if he tries. You know, we used to do a lot of line dancing in school, and this class was my idea. I thought it would give us some more time together, but I'm not sure it matters.
Quick, quick, slow, quick there. Yes.
Getting it.
Smooth. That's it. There you go. That's good. Keep your arms strong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's nothing.
Sorry.
Really, no. I have to dance with some real gorillas out here. It's fun.
I'm just an orangutan.
No, that's not it. You've got the right feel for it. You could be very good. Yeah. Good.
So a chimpanzee?
No. To be a good dancer, you need to be confident. Yeah. But gentle. Mm-hmm.
That's what I always wanted. Look at them. Do you know they're engaged?
Really?
Yeah, getting married in June. Kind of romantic, isn't it?
Check back in 5 years and see how romantic it is.
Bart is an anti-romantic.
That's why you like me, isn't it?
Muchacha bonita. May I have this dance?
Do you still love me?
What? Why would you say that?
I don't know. You show up late for this even when you know it's important for me. You spend more time at your job than you do with us, and now you're gonna start traveling more and spend even less time with us, and eventually you'll run away with a stewardess and leave me.
What? That's impossible. I mean, you know how I hate to fly.
See, you don't even take me seriously anymore.
Oh, that wasn't very nice. Luce, I'm sorry. That wasn't very nice. I'm sorry, okay? Look. Of course I love you. Luce, I'm gonna be spending a lot more time at home, okay?
Oh, really?
And I'm gonna be traveling a lot less.
Really?
Yes, and there won't be any more traveling than this.
And how is that gonna happen?
Well, because I already have the largest region in the company right now. I can't travel any more than I already am.
I'm so tired of you always telling me this, and then it never happens.
I promise.
I believe it when I see it.
Luce, I'm here right now. Come on, Luce.
You know, if I'm talking to a young man who's about to be married or is newly married, I would say to him as plainly as I could, your charge, your duty is to love your wife. The way that you will have a blessed marriage is just to give.
Your assignment as a husband is to deny yourself and love your wife as Christ loved the church. It's a lifetime assignment. It's one that demands numerous efforts and undoubtedly many failures. But your assignment is to love your wife because that's the woman God gave you, and that's your responsibility as a husband to nourish and cherish her.
And so, if I'm going to love my wife as Christ loved the church, that means I've got to know her. I got to pay attention to her. I got to nurture her. I got to deposit in her life more than I withdraw from her life. I've got to make sure that I'm lovingly coming alongside of her and helping her to fill in the gaps and the deficits that she feels. And that's my role.
I think that Ephesians 5:23 also says the husband is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. And that word head, as I've published 133 pages of scholarly articles about that Greek word kephale, meaning head, it means one in authority, one who has the responsibility to take the primary leadership role in the marriage. That should never be done harshly. It should be done with full respect for your wife's equality in the image of God, but it's a responsibility that falls to you.
Is the husband who, just like he looks at his favorite sports team and says that, oh, I know that they need a new point guard, or they need a new quarterback next year to be successful, or they need to do this and that. And he's always assessing his marriage and his family, saying, this is what we need. And he'll sacrifice to do it.
There is a burden of initiative that he needs to take up that should be reflected in the way that he leads in the home. That when certain decisions need to be made, he's not just making the decisions, he's creating a process where appropriate, his wife is being drawn in, counsel is being solicited, but he fundamentally has a responsibility to move things forward.
Headship in Scripture is not woman, get me my chips, nor is godly Christian headship, beloved wife, please get me my chips, and then let's pray. Headship is self-crucifixion for the sake of the other. Servant leadership doesn't mean that your wife is happy with the decision. Servant leadership means that your wife 20 years from now is happy with the decision. A man is to be a strategic thinker, to say what is going to be in the best interest of my wife and how do I disciple my wife and children toward that end.
And the husband can make that hard or easy. So I would tell any man in front of me who feels like his wife isn't submitting to him, I say, are you loving her the way Christ has loved the church? Do that, and you'll make what is hard for her to do easier.
My role is not to be domineering with Karen. My role is not to act like some little snotty-nosed sawdust Caesar that's so insecure that I got to shout. That's not biblical leadership. But my role is to live to make her great, to empower her in such a way that her sails are always full of fresh air.
Men, they're coming to get us in just a few minutes. Are you men ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you men ready?
Yes, sir.
Right. I know some of you are wondering why we run over these plays over and over and over again. You've been thinking, we've got it, coach. But we're about to find out exactly what you've got. Those people out there, they think you're just grooms. That's it. Just grooms. What are you?
Husbands.
What are you?
Husbands.
Yeah. The only question is, what kind of husbands are you? You're about to find that out. Wilson!
Yes, coach.
It's 6:30. Your wife is coming home from work. She's tired, you're tired. She's grumpy, and there's no food in the refrigerator. What do you do?
Live with understanding, sir.
Right. Reynolds! Your wife, she's worn out and she's discouraged. She's lacking confidence. What do?
I love her, coach. I cherish.
Yes, and?
And I nourish.
You bet you do. Keith!
Yes, coach.
Settle down now, Keith. it's the middle of the night and you hear a noise?
I protect her, Coach.
Okay, Keith. But what if your mother pulls you aside and she makes some suggestions on things that your wife could be doing better? What about that, Keith? Jefferson?
You gotta protect your wife, Coach, even if it's from your sharp-tongued mother.
Keith?
Got it, Coach. I protect her.
You bet you do. Men, listen up. When you're out there, you're not gonna have time to think. You need to know what to do and to get it done.
But, Coach, sometimes I get confused.
Donnelly? Are you whining?
Not really, it's just
Donnelly, this is marriage. There is no whining in marriage. Is there whining in marriage?
No, sir.
Is there whining in marriage?
No, sir.
What do we do?
Love and lead.
What do we do?
Love and lead. It's time, Coach.
Okay, man. What's the game plan?
Love and lead.
Again.
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 Love and lead. Think they're ready?
No one's ever really ready, but I think they'll do just fine.
Phoenix, Arizona is home to Dr. Wayne Grudem and his wife, Margaret. Since 2001, Dr. Grudem has served on the faculty at Phoenix Seminary. Prior to that, for 20 years, Dr. Grudem chaired the Department of Biblical and Systematic Theology at the Trinity Evangelical Divinity School in suburban Chicago. He has helped translate the English Standard Version of the Bible, and his systematic theology has sold more than 300,000 copies worldwide. There's probably no theologian alive today who has looked as carefully at what the Bible has to say about roles in marriage. Wayne and Margaret Grudem were married while Wayne was still a senior at Harvard. After he completed his doctoral work at Cambridge, the Grudems moved from England to Minnesota, and then 4 years later to Chicago to work at Trinity. It was while they were living in Chicago that Margaret Grudem was in a serious car accident.
I was in the hospital for a couple days, and about 3 months later, just had chronic pain.
There was a lot of just trauma to Margaret's various muscle groups, and we didn't know there was a solution. A number of years after that, some friends said if we ever wanted to use their second house in the Phoenix area, they'd be happy to let us use it. And well, when you're in the snowdrifts in Illinois, you say, oh, that sounds very interesting. So we did. We came out here, and Margaret felt better. And we came back again, and she felt better. That Illinois climate was really hard on her, and this dry, warm climate here in the Phoenix area was helping her a lot. Margaret was looking in the yellow pages. She said, well, Wayne, there's something here called Phoenix Seminary. We drove over to Scottsdale to see it, and we looked around, and I said to Margaret, I have more books than this. It was just a tiny library, and I think it had 3 full-time faculty members then, under 200 students. It was a seminary, but not very well established and not large. At a very crucial day in this decision-making process, in my regular reading through the Bible, I came to Ephesians 5, and I came to this passage where it says, Ephesians 5:28, in the same way husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. I said, Margaret, you know, if I felt the kind of pain that you are feeling, do you think that I would move to a different climate for the sake of my own body? And she just laughed, like it would take me a minute to make that decision.
I did not want Wayne to move because I felt like the Lord was really blessing him where he was, and I just had a strong sense that when God is blessing you in a ministry, you shouldn't leave for health reasons.
One day we were out walking around our neighborhood in Libertyville, Illinois. Margaret, out of the blue, said, "Wayne, I've decided what I think about going to Phoenix Seminary." I said, "Oh, that's good," because I wanted to know what, she finally thought was the right thing. And she said, "I've decided that you have to make the decision." I felt the heavy responsibility then. She wasn't going to share in the responsibility for the decision in a way, but it also felt right to me. It felt that she was deferring to my leadership as head of the home.
Wayne has really blessed me in showing his love for me sacrificially. And the Lord has brought great blessing to both of us here. Just in terms of relationships and Wayne's writing and speaking, it's been busier here than it was even at Trinity.
I've grown in my ability to listen to Margaret and have grown in my immense respect for her wisdom, insight, understanding of me, knowledge of the Lord and the Lord's will. I just have immense respect for her. And constantly now there are questions about, do I accept this invitation to speak here, to teach there? The first thing I want to know is, Margaret, what do you think about this? And then we both pray about it and seek God's help. But I respect her, her wisdom and insight immensely.
I want you to know I feel your pain,
Oh, yeah.
and I love you. It doesn't matter.
Oh, good. Well, I love you too. But you don't always feel my pain. Well, a couple of years ago for Christmas, our adult children gave my husband and me, Dennis and I, dancing lessons. And I have to tell you, I was absolutely thrilled. My eyes lit up and I went, oh, how fun, dancing lessons. And Dennis kind of looked at it and he had this real skeptical look on his face. What was so fascinating about this is that I thought that I was the one who really had this down because I used to love to dance. But I married someone who has 2 left feet. And we never did much dancing, except for once on our honeymoon. We did one of those rock, back and forth, slow dances. And that was it. So we went to our first class, and the very first thing the instructor said to us, she said, "Rhythm is learned." And I thought, really? I don't think so. One of the examples that she had us practice was for the women to follow the man's lead by closing our eyes. So closing my eyes, I had to rely on feeling the movement that he initiated. I had to pay attention to that feeling and respond to that initiation of direction. And I was trying to influence his direction a lot more than I thought I was, because I thought I was smarter in dancing than he was. I realized by doing that I wasn't really following like I thought I was. I was really trying to help him lead all this time. And I think I'm like a lot of women, we kind of like to be in charge and we kind of like to know where we're going. And you know, I don't think following is ever easy in any marriage. And I don't think it's dependent on the strength of the husband. And I am married to a very strong man. But he likes to say that he married a very strong woman. And he's right. And so that strength often is in competition, mine against his. And following is an art form. Dance is an art form. And you have to really be in sync in order to dance well. It takes years of practice, years of work, years of interacting as a husband and a wife to perfect that relationship of him being the leader and me being the follower. It's not always pleasant because we're pulling at each other. He's pulling one way, I'm pulling the other way. And I may not want that particular move in the dance when he suggests it or when he sort of leads this way. I may not be quite ready for a twirl or a turn or something like that. But in those times in our marriage, we have to up the communication. We have to raise the level of engagement between us so that I understand why he's wanting to go one way and he's understanding why I want to go another way. And we always work to come to a compromise or to come to an agreement. But it works. If I follow, it works.
Was drinking out of that.
The math tutor isn't working.
It's all right.
I say we take away his bike.
Oh, here comes that.
That's such a nice shirt.
Something to shoot for.
You want to bribe our son to get good grades? I like the message that sends.
Excuse me, Randall has dropped some salsa in his shirt.
It's not a big
Do you
deal.
have a clothing wipe or a stain pen?
Okay, let me look.
No, we don't want it to set.
Well, I've got a lot.
Robbie's not good at math. You know I was never good at math. Oh, remember that night that we stayed up all night? You helped me study. We had to get 2 cartons of ice cream.
Luis, you never intended to study.
Thank you.
I've always been really good at math. 780 on my SAT. Only missed 1.
I didn't miss any.
You got an 800?
This should have tetradecene 1 in it.
What do you suggest, Mr. Chocolate Ice Cream?
Well, I think we need to get him something. Tell you what, let's tell him. We'll get him a computer if he gets a B or higher. And then we can just let him figure it out from there.
What kind of computer?
I don't know. Isn't that like rewarding failure?
Mac or?
Oh, trust me, it's about motivation.
I think it's a good
It
idea.
still feels like a bribe to me.
Loose. It's an incentive. Everybody responds to incentives.
Oh, they do?
They do.
Oh, they're cute. I like them.
This is the place where everyone can make a mistake, huh? Huh? See? No. If you start smoothly, gently, everything will come out fine in the turn, huh? Huh? See, everyone loves the swing dance. We're going to jump around and have fun, huh? But there is danger lurking behind every corner. Oh yes, I personally have seen a shoulder be ripped right out of the socket joint. Yes, it is not a pretty sight. Huh? So when they do the turn, the man must lead gently, and the woman must follow. Otherwise, you may hurt yourself. Randall, you especially be careful. Bon. All right, everyone, music please,
Smaller steps.
Thank you for doing this.
Luce, you don't have to thank me. I love dancing with you.
You're not tired of me?
I can never get tired of you.
I'm trying to control Rob too much.
Boys sometimes respond better to gentle encouragement.
They do, don't they?
They do.
You know, the role of being a helper as a wife is really a wonderful position, and there are so many nuances to it that make it really a beautiful role. But there are lots of times when I, as a woman, wish that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I really like to lead, frankly.
One of the ways that she glorifies God, that she exalts God in her life and in her marriage, is by manifesting a willing followership of her husband's leadership. And not just in a mindless way, but in a vigorous, robust, feminine way that really comes alongside of him as a partner, but also recognizes that there's one in this marriage that's responsible to provide leadership, and that's not me.
I can follow with a crummy attitude, and it's just not going to work so well. We may get in the car and go where he wants to go, but it's not going to be pleasant because my heart's not right. I can help with a crummy attitude and be miserable in the process. So I've learned over the years that it really boils down to me having a heart that understands and appreciates and is willing to follow God's plan for marriage, because really the way he has it set up is best. And I know that, but in my heart, I don't always like it. And it's in the times when I don't like it that it's not very much fun.
Ephesians 5:33, Paul commands wives to respect their husbands. I don't personally think there is a more powerful attitude that a wife can have toward her husband than respect.
I have 3 sons, and one thing that we like to do as a family is eat pizza. And we pretty much order it the same way. We order pepperoni pizza with extra sauce. And my husband has the responsibility of calling in and ordering the pizza. Well, for years, I would always have to remind him, don't forget to ask for the extra sauce. We hopped in the car with our 3 boys. They were 8 to 12 at that point. Drove to the pizza place. Bruce went in to get the pizza, and he came out with 2 boxes. And on top of the boxes, there were these 2 containers of sauce. I said, oh, I see that you forgot to ask for the extra sauce again. And from the very back of the car, our 8-year-old pipes up and says, you idiot. I was stunned. I couldn't believe that he was calling Bruce an idiot. We never called each other names. I never let the boys call each other names, and I never, ever called Bruce an idiot. But I didn't have to, because the boys knew exactly what I meant by my tone of voice.
Proverbs tells women that the wise woman will build up her house, but the foolish one with her own hands tears it down. And I think own hands and own words sometimes could be kind of parallel there, that we tear it down with our mouths, and we can tear down our husbands just boom, like that with a word. And yet if I encourage him and love him and speak blessing into his life, it's like he goes out and faces the day stronger and more able and more capable and more godly. And I have a powerful influence, and women have powerful influence in the lives of their men.
I think it's a wise woman who would make a list of what 4 or 5 things really communicate respect to her husband, and make that list, practically work it out, and talk about as a couple how she can really demonstrate that respect to her husband in tangible, powerful ways.
I was a cheerleader in high school, but we cheered for a team that was a pretty stinky team. We never won a game. But every time I went out, I cheered to the top of my lungs. You got to want it to win it. So do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah, we would cheer our team on. The day you put on your wedding dress, you put on a new cheerleader outfit. You're cheering for your family team. We have gotten to a place where we have forgotten to cheer for our team because they've experienced some losses. We cheer for our team even when they're down, and that's the same thing we must do for our new family team.
It was very early in my marriage that it dawned on me how important it was for me to be building him up, and for how important it was for me to be encouraging him and being his champion. And even in his brokenness, even in his sin, even when he made mistakes, to address those issues in a manner in which just encouraged him and affirmed just what the work that God was doing in his life, and affirmed just that I believed he was a good man. I was probably 8 months pregnant, and my husband and I were supposed to be going to his brother's graduation, and he was driving too fast, in my opinion, and I was not happy. And and then I had forgotten the graduation tickets, and we had to go back home, and he was not happy, and so we were both not in very good moods. And by the time we reached our home to pick up the tickets, I had it. That was it. I was not happy with him, and he was not happy with me. And I stormed into the house, got the graduation tickets, threw them into the car, and said, "You're going without me." And at that point in time, he said, "Mary, get into the car." And I was like, he's giving me an order. And I crossed my arms and I said, "No." And he said, "Mary, get into the car." And I remember at that particular point, and that was a real crisis moment for me, because at that point, the Holy Spirit started like this in my ear and convicting me. And I remember having this discussion with God going on in my head and in my heart, and knowing that, yes, the Bible says that wives are to submit to their husbands, and Brent is being totally unreasonable at this moment. He's being totally unloving at this moment. I am totally right and he is totally wrong, and yet am I going to get into the car? And it was one of those moments where it really did define the path that I was going to take for the rest of my marriage and for the rest, really, of my life. I finally said, "Okay, God, that's it. All right, yes, I will obey you." And got around and got in the car and turned to Brent and said, "I hope you know that I'm doing this for God and not you."
Submitting in Scripture isn't agreeing to those things with which one agrees. That's not submission. That's agreement. Submission means following leadership, including in areas in which you would say, "I actually know better how to do this than he does."
Even though I am a very strong woman and very opinionated and very intentional and strong-willed at times, the Lord draws out who I am. He doesn't violate my personality. And submission doesn't violate my personality as a woman. And this is the thing, I think that as we are more conformed into the image of Jesus Christ, we discover that responsiveness as women feels good, and it is actually more of who we are.
promenade. NGO. Beautiful T. Very accomplished, very professional, huh? You have had a very good teacher? Oh, no. Yeah, thank you. No, very nice. Very nice. Everyone,
I told
please.
Terry that what I really wanted to do was different types of ballroom dancing at a reception, especially the tango. He thought I was joking, but here we are.
Oh, you two are great dancers. I love watching you.
It's all her. I just try not to step on her feet too much.
All right. Everyone is well rested, no? Now it is our last time to experience heaven on earth with the tango, huh? That is, unless you sign up for the next level, which starts in 2 weeks. Merci, ma chère. So, allons-y. T-A-N-G-O. Remember, man, you must lead, but if you lead, you must know where you are going, huh? That way the woman can't follow.
No. Hey, take it easy. Sit over here, come on.
Are you okay? Huh?
Yeah, I think I just tried to go a little too fast.
Oh, no. You know the tango. You twirl, and sometime this thing happened.
Yes. Okay, have a seat here.
You were not unhappy with everything.
No, she's fine. She's fine. We
it's
just need to get some ice on it.
It was me. I was paying attention.
Oh, c'est terrible.
I was having too much fun, I guess.
Oh, no.
Feels like a grade 1 sprain.
I do not know what that means, but it looks like you are in very good hands, huh?
Okay.
So I leave you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Tell you what, we're gonna get your purse. We're gonna go home. We're gonna get you some ice on this, okay?
Yes.
I am so sorry about this. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Yes, it's just a sprain.
Yeah.
Oh, Pierre gets really distraught when someone gets hurt. He's afraid that they'll blame him and not come back to other classes.
No. Talking wasn't his fault. I just stepped wrong. And, we can't come to the next class because
No, we can. Sign us up. When is the next class?
No, but what about your work and your
Let me
plans?
worry about that. Next class.
It starts in 2 weeks.
We'll be there. Sign us up.
Great. Oh, good. Pierre will be thrilled. He liked you both a lot.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Marie.
Yeah, I'm sorry again.
Luis, you don't have to do that.
I want to. I like dancing with you.
Okay.
Look, I'm gonna get your purse here. Okay, you just sit there for a second.
Okay.
Okay, put your weight on your other foot, and then
Okay.
on me. There we go, sweetheart. Okay,
right.
we're gonna go home. Take it easy. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go home. We're gonna get Robbie, and we're gonna get you lying down. Okay, and we're gonna have family
Yeah,
night.
I think I'm gonna feel better lying down. Maybe we can get some ice cream on the way home.
Well, you know I like ice cream.
Yes.
Oh, take it easy.
Yeah, this level 1 sprain thing. I think
Grade 1 sprain.
Right. Grade 1 sprain. I think. Bye.
Bye.